Appreciate that. All right, so let's get into all the gossip that you're so good at sharing. First of all, let's go back to the Jamie Foxx thing.
Well, Jamie Foxx, way back when that happened, I think 2 Mays ago, when he was in the hospital, I had a source of mine who was actually in his room in Chicago when he first fell into his coma. And I got word back that he was partially blind, partially paralyzed. And I told that story on my show. And his daughter went after me. This white man said lies about my dad. We've been playing pickleball, just complete lies. So I stuck to my story because I knew my source wouldn't lie to me. And then it went all over the world. It was crazy. And then Jamie Foxx has now admitted in his comedy special that he was partially blind, partially paralyzed. So I was right about that.
And basically in a coma, right? For 20 days?
Yeah, he was in a coma, but he said he fell into a coma because his friend gave him an Advil because he had a headache. First of all, no man takes 1 Advil. I take 5. I know women who take 6 when their period is too painful. So 1 Advil is bullshit. And if it was Advil, he would have filed a lawsuit against them. He's now said, no, that's not what happened. The other rumor was P. Diddy tried to kill him. And I said, that's a bunch of shit. And last week, Jamie Foxx said, that didn't happen. Diddy didn't try to have me killed. My story was from the beginning, he had a vaccination for that movie, Back in Action, with Cameron Diaz, which bombed. He didn't want to have it, but he had to have it. And there was some kind of reaction that put him in that position he was in. So everything I said was right. Everything. That's it.
So, but is he still saying that it's from the vaccination, or he's saying that it was from
he's never admitted that. Okay. I don't think he might one day, but for some reason, because he's Hollywood and there's the whole liberalism thing in Hollywood, and I don't think those people will ever admit that the vaccine hurt them. But I had Johnson & Johnson. I had COVID, very bad, intensive care, pneumonia, almost died. I got the shot, and I've had COVID 5 times since then. So It's all bullshit. We're now understanding everything we thought and felt. We were all right. The government lied. Doctors lied. Listen, it's a revolution. Cat Williams said on Club Shay Shay, 2024 is the year of truth. Well, 2025 is going to be even more truth because everybody has been lying to us, from the media to the medical profession, you name it. We've been lied to for years. We had no idea what was going on. And now we're starting to understand just how much we were messed with as a people.
Right. It's interesting because I feel like 2025 into 2026 is going to be a year of where we're reconsidering things like that we didn't know the real story behind, whether it's the vaccination, the disease, and then people, right? Because you see people getting all these documentaries like Jamie Foxx about what happened to Justin Bieber, and then all the way back, obviously we talked about, I think I had Lorena Bobbitt on my show. There was a documentary about her. People from the past are getting a lot of recognition, and people want to hear their story more than being interested in people of right now. So I find that interesting.
Like the Menendez brothers, right? Yeah. I covered their trial as a journalist, and I remember, I think it was Eric, one of them was on the stand, and I watched him, and his vein was popping out of his head while he explained how hard it was to live with his father and mother. And as a guy who studied acting and method acting for 5 years in New York, I said, he's not faking this. You can't fake that vein pop out of your head. He went through some shit. But back then, nobody would ever believe a father molested their sons. That was like unheard of. But these kids had to live with that. So even that's been a lie. There's so many. We found that there are so many O.J. Simpson, Nicole lies about blood being taken, blood being found. You know why the truth's coming out? This guy, Thug Life, Trump. This guy, who, by the way, I've been punched out and pepper sprayed because I wore this shirt 2 times. People got me.
For people that can't see what we're looking at, he has a shirt on that says Thug Life, and it's a picture of Donald Trump.
He's like a thug with high socks. But the point is, whether you like him or not, he's been very forthcoming and upfront about things, and he says what he says, and the truth is like a box of chocolate. You can't wait to rip into it. And now that we're all telling the truth, people are going bananas about, oh my God, now I can tell my story and people will believe me.
Right.
Before that, nobody believed you.
Right. Okay, wait, let's go back to the Menendez brothers for 1 second. Do you think that even if they were molested and all this stuff happened, that what they did to their parents, was enough for just being in jail for 35 years or whatever it is? Do you think they should get out now?
I think there are people who did things that were worse than them that are out already. But look, when you read the gory details of reloading a shotgun and going back to kill your mother, shoot the father in the face, they're eating ice cream. Of course, it's gory and disgusting, but I was never abused as a child. I've never been abused, period. I know many women who have, and they all tell me if they met their abuser, they'd wring their necks and kill them. So I just feel really bad for them, and I believe their story from the get-go. And now that we understand what abuse is like, and sexual abuse is it's like every day there's a story about sexual allegation.
Yeah.
So I believe them, and I know it's gory, but they were kids. They were privileged kids. They did what they did. But I think all the years they spent in prison and the way they've acted since they've been locked up, which is very helpful to inmates and trying to make them have a better life, that, yeah, I think they've served enough. Let them out for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that the downfall, I don't not believe them about what happened. What I think is, hard to stomach is that they killed the mom also, and then the reloading of the gun that you said, but also how they reacted after. Pretended it wasn't them, went around and bought a car, watches, whatever they did. So it seemed like it was for money, and it seemed like they got caught. So then they had to be remorseful and act like the victim. So I don't know. I didn't love that, but
I don't either.
If they get out, I'm not going to have a problem with it either. So
I'm not going to have a problem, and I'm not going to have a party. I just think, like, okay, 35 years.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing.
There will definitely be a new docu-series.
Oh,
clearly.
For sure.
I've been trying to get on the woman, I forget her name. It's somebody with a T, who's married to one of them now. She married him in prison.
Oh, God, yeah, really? I don't know her name.
What kind of a person, and I feel like this is a very misunderstood person, what kind of a person is so infatuated with someone in prison, they start writing them letters, and then you get to a point where you get married to somebody in prison? I don't get it. I want to know all about it.
I don't get it either. But, thank God for women, because so many men are fucked up, even if they're not in prison. We're just a mess. We're a disaster. And the fact that women can love us, and women love to be fixers. They love to fix their man and make him better, which is a great quality. And I've had women in my life, and they've done their best to fix me. Not everyone was successful. My last girlfriend tried, but I was still an asshole, and it didn't work out. So these women who marry inmates, first, they're very lonely, and they just need to reach out and speak to somebody. And, guys, I don't want to say criminals, but men who are lonely seem to be very attractive to many women. These are not women you'd find as an Instagram model. Don't get me wrong. They're not like beauties. They're not going to get a supermodel, but there's somebody out there that wants to provide them some kind of care and treat them right and love them. And that's the part of life that I go, isn't that wonderful that there's still somebody out there for these guys, or any murderer out there, or whatever they've done.
I think these women know that these men, that they're not going to have a lot of competition to get the man. So maybe it's easier for someone who's having a harder time.